Hey Rockstars, Lid Shaw, and I'm coming to you from NAMM 2020 at the API audio booth, and I'm talking to Todd Humora. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent, thank you.
Right on, dude. I like your sense of style, man. You look pretty good.
Thank you, thank you.
So you know a lot about this incredible piece of gear that we wanted to talk to you about. You guys have a mixer here called the Box, and it's pretty exciting. So can you give us like a brief overview of what this does? Well, what are we looking at here?
This is, it's hard intended for like a small project studio, but certainly has a lot of flexibility to be used in a lot of locations. It's kind of two halves here. On what we call the main input side, we have 8 channels with full mic preamp and line input. We also have 500 slot in each one, which we've loaded up with a bunch of different API EQs. And
this is the 8 channels of recording side, sort of.
Correct, and the idea is it gives you 8 channels with direct outputs that you would then track with. You have some flexibility. The first 4 have the ability to have compression, onboard compression in them. They all have inserts. The first 4 also have a high Z input, so if you're doing guitar, which is down in the front below. And then when you're doing your mixing, you have what we call the summing side, which are just 16 channels, same routing, but just line input, no mic pre. They definitely have inserts and everything, and you can use them for analog summing. You can bring 8 stereo stems, 16 mono, or whatever.
Very cool. So here, let's back this camera on. Let me look at it. So basically, our signal flow is kind of coming in through here. It's 8 channels like this, and then we're just sending it to Pro Tools on a track, and then
which is a 24 channel or 24 pin D sub, 25 pin D sub. So standard 1 cable gives you your 8 channels right into your interface.
Yeah, awesome. And then we come out of Pro Tools and we can hit 16 here, and we can either sort of mix it, returning from Pro Tools, go into a stereo mix, or we can even hit a switch, I think, which you show us here, which will just make it recallable.
If you have level automation in your DAW that you're coming from, you can just go 0 dB bypass, or if you just want it unity, it takes the fader out of the path, so you can't by mistake hit it and screw everything up. That way it's just sort of convenient for you there. If you don't need it, we'll just take it out of your way.
Awesome, yeah. And I mean, sometimes if you're trying to recall a mix and you're like, where did I have that fader exactly? It's nice that you got that switch. So then this all goes down to stereo, which comes over to this world, and then what do we got up here?
What we have here is basically 2 of our 527s basically configured in the console, and then under normal circumstances, they're on the program bus left and right. You can stereo link them, or like I said before, when you're tracking, you could drop them over the channel, and they go to channel 1, 2, or 3 and 4 by pressing those buttons. So you can have a little compression during recording, and then use it on the bus when you're mixing.
Okay, hold on, let's bring the camera over here. So what he's saying is this, you can actually send these compressors way over here to the left, and you can hit these 4 channels right here?
Yeah, and what it is you have the option to make it, there's a comp post, so you can have it pre or post the EQ in those 4 channels. It just gives you a little bit extra. You can insert more in the other ones, but we can only route it to 4. It gets a little more complex.
Yeah, but it's a smart way to give you the option. It's like, you want to record with the compressors, or do you want to use them on the mix?
Definitely gives you some flexibility, allows you to use them for a couple different things.
Okay, cool. Now, I'm trying to think of some things. So, like, for example, I get that we're recording here and we're mixing here, but then I'm seeing similarities. I'm seeing, like, aux sends that are the same here. What's that all about? What's going on with that?
All 24 inputs, the 8 and the 16, have identical routing. This section here, assigning to the program bus with pan, and then to the 4 auxes, 2 mono and 1 stereo, is identical across the entire console. So you can use all 24 during mixing for creating headphone mixes, sending to effects, and everything. And then even beyond that, on the program bus, we have a sum in, which gives you just another stereo unity in to the program bus. So you get actually 26 inputs. So if you have a little sub mixer or something else, you can feed that. That's where you can feed that in and not eat up 2 more channels.
Okay, so then you may have just answered that, but let me ask it again. One of my thoughts when I see this, I'm like, okay, but so do we think about, like, what if we want to not go to Pro Tools and we just want to mix straight through the board? Do we come in on these 8 and then route them over to these or something like that?
No, everything goes straight. Like I said, has the same routing, so everything would go straight to the program bus.
Got you. So you can actually just have 24 faders having an input come in and go straight to the stereo bus and just mix away.
That's exactly correct, yep.
Very cool. Now, I was asking you this before, but let me ask it again. Over here we look at it and we're like, okay, I get it. This has got mic pre's, and then you can load this up. Now, does the box come with these 500, or do you sort of select what you want?
You select what you want. The MSRP is unloaded, but you can add in and mix and match and get whatever flavors you want. So
dig it. All right, that makes sense. So you can pick out your favorite EQs and stuff to put on the instruments you think you might be using. Now, so I understand recording over here, but what if we want to, we can do line inputs to these 16. What if we want to bring in, 24 mic lines and EQ and stuff? How would we do that?
You have to add in some extra external mic preamps. We do have full insert here, but like you said, line in. So if you have an external EQ or a lunchbox, like you said, with an EQ, a mic pre and an EQ. Sorry, you need an external mic pre is what I meant to say before. You can actually absolutely equip all 16 of these to the same level as the 8 main ones. So you would have a 24-channel console at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I can see like how you would get yourself a couple of 8-channel lunch boxes or something. Then you could be working just like we talked about, where you're recording through here, you're mixing back through there, and that's your workflow. Or at any given time, you're like, oh, you know what? Today we're just recording 24 channels in, and we need to come straight from the mics. You plug into your boxes, or you're like, oh no, today we're going to do a mobile recording, so we just pick up our boxes and go. What was I going to ask about that? So if we're coming in 24, oh yeah, can we hit the stereo bus but also like capture direct to Pro Tools at the same time?
None of these 16 have an output, so you can't get out of these. They just are there for summing. But you obviously can use the 8s. You can put the direct out pre, so that the fader positions won't affect the level that you would be sending out to record.
Okay, cool. But I see we still have you can't go direct out, but we still have a program switch. So what this is feeding, this program, meaning the stereo bus, or what else?
That's just the stereo bus, yeah, just the program stereo bus.
So if we turn off this program switch, what does it do?
They go nowhere.
Okay, cool. So it's like it's like disabling.
They can feed the auxes. You still have the two the 4 auxes there. So
okay, cool. So that's flexibility right there. It's almost like these are you can create routing options over on this side, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, cool. And then what's a use case? Why would somebody what kind of individual would be like, oh, this is a great fit for me?
Yeah, like I talked about at the beginning, somebody with like a little home project studio who wants a bit of an analog console, doesn't want to do everything in the box. They're obviously going to need the mic pre's to do recording, but they only record a handful of things at once. Yeah. So they have enough of what they need for routing there, but then they want that something you get with analog summing and with APIs, character and output transformers and 2520s and all those things, so they can do some stems and mix down, but get that final analog summing and sound right at the end as the final stereo mix.
Well, I was going to say, that's a hell of a great sounding project, for your project studio. So, I mean, this is top of the line, Rockstars. This is the sound of great records, Also, these faders feel really good. I don't know if these faders are smoother than my fingers are, Well, awesome, Todd. Thanks so much for showing us this stuff. Let the Rockstars know where they can go find out more about you, API. Where do they go take a look at this box?
APIaudio.com has all the info you need. As far as we have dealers and distributors throughout the country, throughout the world, you find that info online with APIaudio.com.
All right, cool. Stay tuned, Rockstars. We may be able to help you find a dealer near you. I don't know. Well, awesome, Todd. Thanks so much.
You're quite welcome.
Rockstars, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.